listening to Behind the BS, episode 37, with special guest DustyThighs. Enjoy. What's up, everyone? Mystic Mike here with Behind the BS, Behind the Broadcasting Software, and today's guest is DustyThighs. How you doing today, Dusty?
Hey, I'm awesome, Mike. How are you?
I am doing awesome. I'll get you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your stream, and then we'll get right into the nitty gritty.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm DustyThighs, and I stream exclusively on Mixer. I work full time now, so I only stream one day a week, but we have a lot of fun. I'm a variety streamer. I tend to go more towards the horror games. I have a lot of fun with those. I do not have fun with Battle Royale, so I usually avoid those, but we like to keep it fresh with a lot of different things. We do jump days and faceplant Fridays and different stuff like that. So yeah, we just like to have a lot of fun. We like to have dance parties on my stream a lot. We sing and just kind of crack up. It's more about community than it is really playing games most days, but I wouldn't have it any other way. So
no, exactly. And it's always a hoot when you're in there because the dance parties are always just the chat is going like a mile a minute.
Yes. We've got my community is full of some of the best spammers ever. So we have some really epic dance parties.
Oh yeah, I love it. I gotta ask, the name DustyThighs, where did it come from?
So a little backstory on that. My ex-husband is from England and I'm from the US. And so when he would leave the US and return to the UK to visit with his family and stuff, he would always joke that my nether regions were going to get a little dusty in his absence. And so as a joke one day, because we gamed a lot together, and so as a joke, I had turned my gamer tag to DustyThighs, and it just kind of became a little nickname, yeah. And when I first came to Mixer, I was a viewer, I was a moderator, I did a lot of graphics for people. So I wasn't streaming yet, and so I wasn't sure if the name was going to stick with me. And I went into Cranky Canuck's channel one day.
Yes.
And he was so excited and just over the top about my name. And it was that day that I was like, yes, like when I decide to start streaming, I'm keeping the name because he had such a funny reaction to it. So, yep, it just stuck with me.
That is so. I thought it had something to do with that, but I was like, oh, maybe not. Now the whole Team Dusty, Team Moisty thing makes way more sense now.
Right, yes. Yes, that and the awesome fact that the word moist makes me cringe, and my community knows that. So when I became a partnered streamer, we decided to go with Sub Wars and let people decide if they wanted to be on Team Dusty or if they wanted to be on Team Moisty. And we have a lot of fun with that too. So we get pretty messy.
I always love raiding too, and I like to put in that little the moist raid.
Yes.
Now that I know what it means, I'm like, maybe I'll change it up now.
Yeah. So, but no, we have a lot of fun with it.
No, that is too awesome. That's too funny. My wife's the same way. She hates the word moist. Like,
it's just so cringy. I just.
Then how do you describe a cake or like a good cake?
Delicious. I mean, I don't think that I've ever described a cake as moist.
No.
Gross.
You know what's funny is one time we were out for dinner, me, my wife, and my son. And my son will be 10 this year, and we were out for dinner, and he had this cake, like a little tiny cake thingy, like it was like a buffet style thing, and he's eating it, and he's like, "Oh wow, Dad, this cake is so moist." And then,
oh no,
I know.
Did your wife cringe?
Oh yeah, and then she looked at me like she's like, "You made him say it, didn't you?" And I'm like cracking up laughing. I'm like, I legit didn't. I was like, I wish I did. Because the look on her face was priceless, but I'm like, I swear to God, he said that all on his own, and I love him even more.
That is fantastic. I would have given you the same look, like, no.
I bug her so much about it too. I think she's getting to the point where she's starting to get used to it because when my dad was down recently and I'm like, "Oh, Dad, don't forget to make," because he made a bunch of tea biscuits. I'm like, "Make sure they're nice and moist, Dad?" And she's just
Yeah, I think I'm getting conditioned to the word. Like, we just got new stickers made for the channel, and I even threw in like Team Dusty and Team Moisty got their own stickers. So
I know, I saw those.
like, oh my gosh! So,
those are Your stickers are pretty sick. They're awesome.
Yeah, the artist, Flo, she did a phenomenal job. I was super pleased with them. So I'm excited to debut them this week.
Yes. And you'll be streaming Friday or Sunday?
Sunday. Yeah.
Sunday?
So I've been sticking just with Sundays right now, which at first because I was 5 days a week and then I went back to work full time and I was still trying to do it. And I was just wearing myself out to the point where I was like, okay, I'll cut down to 3 days a week. And it just was still so exhausting as a single mom and streaming and the behind the scenes, like the tech stuff that I do.
Yeah.
And it was so much. So right now I'm just on 1 day a week, which I'm hoping to get back up to 2 days a week soon, but I'm taking baby steps.
Oh, you have to. I mean, because you're a single mom, correct? Or
I am, yeah.
Yeah, so you're a single mom, you're working full time, and then streaming on top of that. That's like a full time, another full time job, and being a parent's a full time job alone.
Right? Yeah.
So you get three full time jobs.
Kudos to these partners that can do so much more. Stream time. I'm just like, wow. But during the week, I'm an HR manager, and I manage 2 facilities with about 200 people, and it just wears me out. I'm just like mentally drained at the end of the day, and I just felt like I wasn't bringing my energy to the streams, trying to do them in the evenings after work. So I'm like, I'd rather, cut back and still have great quality versus having, the quantity, but not really the quantity and not being able to be hyped and, like we normally are. So yeah, we're just on Sundays right now.
No, that's perfect. I mean, that's the best way to do it too, because you want to be yourself on stream. You don't want to be less than yourself.
Exactly. And I don't want to be like falling over asleep or like trying to, kind of fake it till you make it type thing. Like I really, I enjoy my time with my community every week. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way right now. I mean, I love what we do on the weekends. It's something that we all look forward to. So. All
right. Too easy. So we'll jump right into the first question here. It's kind of my go-to one. What's your favorite go-to order at your favorite local restaurant?
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Olive Garden, and it's always the chicken Alfredo. I always open the menu like I'm gonna possibly try something else, and I never do.
I think a lot of people do that because I'll always go to different restaurants that I go to regularly, and I'll open the menu, but I always know like, oh, I'm going to get this burger from this place, or I'm going to get the baked pasta from this place, or it's like, I know what I'm going to get, but you still get a look.
I mean, and I have tried a couple of other things there, but I always come back to the chicken Alfredo.
The thing I like about Olive Garden too is you get because you get the unlimited breadsticks, right? And unlimited salad.
Yes.
Like that's the best. That's so awesome. Like just go there, eat a bunch of salad.
It's like I can make 2 meals out of it too. And I think that's why I like Olive Garden so much is because I always have leftovers. Like I always have like a second meal.
Oh, so. I never thought of that actually. I should start taking the wife there more often.
Yeah, I kind of fill up on like the salad and the breadsticks when, and I'll have a couple bites of my chicken Alfredo, but generally I eat the majority of it the next day. So
that is such a good idea. The closest one to us though is like, I think 25 minutes away. So.
Oh yeah. See, mine's like 5 minutes away. So it's an easy go-to. If I want like a nice sit down.
Is yours beside a Red Lobster?
It is.
What is up with that? Like,
I know. I think that they're like in cahoots or something because they're always like we've got not quite as many Red Lobsters anymore, but there used to be like 3 or 4 within like a 45-minute radius, and every single one of them had an Olive Garden sitting next to it. So
right, like I don't understand that. Like they have to be partnered or something, but I don't understand. So like pasta and seafood don't. Well, I guess seafood pasta, yeah. I guess they kind of go together, yeah.
I personally don't mix them, but I guess some people do.
I do some. I get one from like a jambalaya type pasta from Boston Pizza, and it has like shrimp in it and stuff like that.
Ooh, that actually doesn't sound half bad.
It's the only thing I ever get from Boston Pizza because I'm not a fan of their burgers. I'm not a fan of their pizza, which I know is what they're known for, but their jambalaya fettuccine, it's like spicy. It's got like big sausage in it, some shrimp, chicken.
It's funny that you go to a pizza place for pasta.
Yeah, I know. And my wife always gets the beef dip there, I think it is. So neither of us get pizza from there.
That's funny.
Yeah. Next question. For myself, when I started gaming, it was my dad that really got me into it. Like we would play Mario Brothers like religiously on the old NES, like the very first one. For
Yeah.
yourself, who got you into gaming, or what got you into gaming?
I don't know. I just kind of picked it up one day. I had kind of an odd childhood. I was in and out of foster care and went through 2 different adoptions, and so there was a lot of loneliness that went along with that sometimes.
Yeah.
And I picked up The Sims, and it was really cool because no matter like what was going on around me in my life, I had 100% control over these little people, and I still to this day I'm totally obsessed with The Sims. It feeds my God complex. Everybody makes fun of me for it. But yeah, I mean, it was just, just kind of having to entertain myself. And then when I discovered, video games, it was like, wow, you could be whatever character you wanted to be, or, create whatever you wanted to be. And that was really cool to me as a kid. So.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And it's such a good escape too from reality that and like you said, you can make your own reality within it and live through the character.
Exactly. So, and I became obsessed with like building all these little towns and all these little peoples, and just having total control over this little, virtual world was just really cool to me as a kid. So
it seems too Sims is like making a huge comeback right now as well.
Yes. Yeah. They're doing all kinds of stuff, releasing all kinds of stuff, and EA's talking about Sims 5, which I might actually pull my hair out if they do, because that just means I have to rebuy all of the same stuff all over again.
Yeah.
So we went through that issue when like The Sims 3, I had dropped so much money on every single expansion pack, and then they were all obsolete with the introduction of The Sims 4. So I'm really hoping they don't do it again.
They should really, they should really make it backwards compatible, or just not call it Sims 4, just like call it like, make it a DLC that's like a huge update, and like people will probably still pay full price for it. But
I mean, I had, I don't even know how many expansion packs there were for The Sims 3. I'll guesstimate about 30, 35 expansions for the game. Wow. And then they were all just obsolete, and they introduced The Sims 4, and it was like you were back to the base pack, and we're still waiting for them to like re-release the same games, but for The Sims 4. And it's been a little bit frustrating, but I still love them. I still stick with them because The Sims is my obsession. So.
I hear now too. I was watching Moto play the other day that you can actually be streamer in the game now.
Yes, I have. And of course, with like the Get Famous expansion, you can be famous and you can, build your fame and stuff. So I do totally have a famous streamer chick.
Nice.
She does a lot of different cool stuff. So yeah, I was really excited with that update because that was brand new. They've not done that with any of the Sims previously. So it's a lot of fun.
It's so cool they would do that, especially like, because I seen Moto doing it, and then I seen Safista was talking about doing it now that came out, because she was kind of excited about it.
Yeah, well, and it's cool too because you can buy their little setup, and they've got their computer and their camera and their lights, and you can upgrade their stuff, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's really neat. It'd
be cool too if they had like Elgato and them partner with them almost, and have it like, this is an Elgato Stream Deck.
Accessories, that would be really.
It'd be so smart of them to do it.
You can do like charity streams, and like you can do like little podcasts about, different like tech gadgets or beauty, vlogs and stuff like that. Like they kind of went all out with the streamer career path on The Sims. So it's pretty cool.
I used to play Sims when I was younger. Like I think the last one I played was probably like the original like Sims 1.
Oh, okay.
And I loved it, but I don't know. I just couldn't get. I turned over and got into the whole like Civilization and Age of Empires and those kind of similar, and SimCity. SimCity I still play to this day, like all the time.
So more the building side versus the controlling individual character side.
I can't remember why I stopped playing it. Something watching like Moto play it, and then like hearing like other people talk about it, I'm like, I should give it a try again. But then I'm like, I got a newborn baby. The last thing I need is like get into a game like that.
Yeah, no kidding. Because it's time consuming. I mean, I'm not too proud to say that I have spent like a solid 8 hours not moving, just playing my Sims, and then I'm like, wow, I haven't eaten all day. Like, it's really easy. Like my son will be at his dad's, and I'm just like, I don't know, like it's getting dark outside, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just played The Sims all day long.
What day is it?
Right, exactly. So it's one of those that, you really have to have some free time on your hands if you're gonna dig into it.
Yeah, maybe I'll wait till she's a little older. By then, Sims 4 might be out by then, or Sims 5.
Oh, don't you say that. They need to keep expanding the Sims 4.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Salty.
We'll say Sims 4.5 will be out by then.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. They should still do that. Like, why not? Like other games do it. Like Kingdom Hearts had like a 2.1, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 9 before they released the third one.
Yeah. And it's like, and they release all these expansion packs that add to your game. I mean, they're basically, DLC that you're adding to your game, and then you waste all this money on it, and then they're just all obsolete when they release a new one.
Yeah, and there's no reason they need to really release a whole new game. Like, you can update graphics, no problem, on games nowadays.
Yep.
Like, I say the same thing about NHL. Like, there's no reason they have to keep coming out with a new NHL game because they're all the exact same. All they do is change the roster. Update my roster, give me like a gameplay update, and I'll pay $80 for that. Like, or give me a season pass or whatever.
Exactly. I don't get it.
No. Well, it's from a business standpoint, I guess it makes sense, but from a gamer standpoint, it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. It's frustrating from a gamer standpoint.
Yeah, very. We'll move on to the next question. What would you say is your favorite thing about streaming?
My community. It's really cool because it's just, to me, it feels like, it's just a bunch of people getting together and just joking and laughing. And we do play games, but I feel like that's not actually what we're there for. So it's more the interaction, and I'm always trying to go, above and beyond what new stuff can I add to the channel to make it more interactive and I've always said that I have more fun creating buttons and creating commands and, and stuff like that. To me, that is probably one of my favorite things about streaming. And that's actually how I came to Mixer was I was, setting all that stuff up for another streamer. And I discovered like, I really like creating all this stuff behind the scenes and then being able to roll it out to the community and everybody's, enjoying like smashing buttons and setting off commands and blasting out my earballs. But that's probably my favorite thing, honestly.
That is awesome. I like doing that too, to be honest. Like I'll sit here for hours just doing stuff behind the scenes and I'm like, I probably spend more time doing that than I do streaming. Exactly.
Yeah. When I was still streaming full time, I put in just as much time behind the scenes as I did, streaming 30, 40 hours a week. I felt like I was putting in just as much time at first, just creating new stuff and learning about the bot and learning about the capabilities of, all the interactive stuff. So it's a lot of fun to me.
Oh, 100%. Excuse me. Next question we'll go to is, it's kind of a fun one. If a genie was to grant you 3 wishes, what would you wish for?
Oh, wow. Anything that I could possibly want?
Anything you want, yes.
I would say first and foremost, I would wish for my health back. I'm pretty candid with my community that I do suffer from a chronic terminal illness. If I could wish for anything, it would definitely be to have my health back. I've been battling for about 4 years now, and most days are good right now, but that's not always the case. Second wish, obviously I would want like an obscene amount of money because who wouldn't?
Exactly.
I would definitely go traveling and buy all kinds of cool stuff. I don't know. Is it lame to say that those would probably be the only 2 things I would wish for?
No.
Maybe like an unlimited amount of like ice cream.
Oh, yes.
I could be down with that. Like in various flavors, some butter pecan and mint chocolate chip.
Oh, I was just gonna say that. Yep, 100%. I've never thought about that wish. That's.
Yeah. I mean, I could technically get that with my second wish, but I mean, I could just save myself a lot of time by just making that my third wish.
Exactly. Why spend the money that you have unlimited supply of when you can just wish for unlimited supply of ice cream?
Exactly.
I've never heard that. I like it. I can still go for that too. No, that is awesome. Next question. It's kind of where'd it go here? This one here. With streaming trolls and negativity, we know what's going to happen. For yourself, what do you do when you're confronted with such things? And what advice would you give to new up and coming streamers to help them kind of get over it or kind of move past it?
I mean, you're right. We do all deal with trolls. I I tend to be very loud. Anybody that's ever been in my channel knows that. I think that in and of itself kind of deters some trolls. Especially I think a lot of female content creators that I know, they deal with that. And I'm like, why don't I really get those issues? And I think it's just because I'm loud and I'm crass. Don't be afraid to kind of stick up for yourself. But honestly, the way that we deal with trolls in my community is I don't even acknowledge what they've said. I don't get upset about it. We just ban them. My mod team is amazing. So they're usually really quick with that ban hammer if somebody comes in and is being completely inappropriate. And my scene changes and we sing them a little song and everybody laughs about it. They enjoyed a little scene change in the song. And most of the time, nobody ever comments on what was said. Nobody, when I first started streaming, people were like, oh, like what'd they get banned for? And it's like, it doesn't matter. Like we're moving on, because I don't want to spend time on that negativity. If somebody came in and tried to push that into my community, like we're not going to spend time on it. So we ban them, we laugh about it, we sing a song. We don't, outside of that, we don't even mention the fact that somebody's been banned, and we just don't miss a beat. We just keep going on with whatever it is that we were doing. So, and that's honestly my advice that I would give people is if you tend to be a kind of a quieter person, that's totally fine. But like, you got to stand up for yourself. Don't, allow people to come in and kind of mistreat you because, what you allow will continue. So, just call them on it or just get rid of them and don't look back. Like, don't spend time on the negativity. Don't spend the next 5 minutes talking to your chat about, what just happened. Like, no, just get them out of there and just move on. Don't let it, ruin your day. So
exactly. And even by talking about it, you're just feeding him anyway. And he's probably still sitting there watching going, oh, good.
Right. They're still watching. They're still, exactly. They're still seeing you, be upset or seeing your chat be upset. But if you don't even give them that satisfaction, like you act like you didn't even notice that you just banned them, then they don't have it, they move on. They'll go troll someone else.
Exactly. What's the song again? Is it the na 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 one?
It is.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Hey, goodbye.
Goodbye. Exactly. Yep.
That's such an awesome one. I started using the.
You started using what?
I started using the one. What the heck is it called? It's from. It's from some musical. Farewell, goodbye, Avida di da da. That one.
Oh yeah, yes, I know that one. Yep.
And then it's a hockey player getting thrown into the penalty box.
That's so perfect.
Yeah.
And like usually, like people that are regulars in your channel, like in mine, they'll like put it in chat, like na 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 na. You know what I mean? Like they'll sing along, and then we all just move on. Like it's it's almost like a fun thing at this point. Like I swear I've got a couple of regulars that are like, ooh, I do hope somebody comes in here and acts crazy today just so that I can see the ban hammer song. So
I bet there are some. Yeah. Maybe they make fake accounts just to get it.
Yeah, right. Like just to get banned.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean it's just make a joke of it and just smile and laugh and that's how we deal with it. So yep.
No, that's the best. Next question. It's two questions. I'll ask the first one first. What would you consider to be your deepest fear?
Like streaming wise or just life in general?
Life in general. You can do both if you have one for each. They're different.
I mean, I don't really have any big fears with streaming. When I cut my schedule down to extremely part-time, I was really worried that I was going to lose my community. I was going to lose my friends and my connections that I've made. And I didn't. I mean, it's been amazing. My community has stood behind me. They understand the health issues that I battle with and why, streaming and trying to work full time, just wasn't going to be an option unless I cut down my hours. But I mean, that was my biggest fear and it didn't happen, which was really cool. I mean, we still get together every Sunday, just a big group of us friends it's a lot of fun. And I would say outside of streaming, one of my biggest fears is that my crib midget, he's 13. And I'll get a little dark here, but my biggest fear, especially when I got my diagnosis, I was told, 6 to 10 years is probably your life expectancy. And that was 4 years ago. And my biggest fear, honestly, is that I don't get to stick around long enough to see him grow into, the amazing young man that he's becoming. And Yeah, so that's probably my biggest fear is just, keeping my health under control.
Yeah.
To get him fully grown and out into the world and doing his thing. So
I can imagine. I couldn't even imagine not like being in your position like that. Like I can't even.
Yeah. It was scary. It was kind of scary when they told me that. And of course, I've always been kind of just a loud, positive, quote unquote badass. And I'm like, oh, whatever. Like that's not going to happen. And then, and like last year, my health did take a really bad turn for the worst. And I was, had to take a medical leave for about 7 months. And I think that was the first time that really hit me. Like this is kind of real, because I've always been a hard worker and I've always had a good career, and not being able to do that kind of opened my eyes to like, you need to slow down. Like you do actually have this issue and you need to deal with that and stuff like that. So
yes, so take it easy.
Fighting through it. So yeah, we're fighting through it every day. So
that's all you can do. I mean, that's awesome. Like hats off to you. Like just everything you do is amazing.
Thank you.
And the next question, it has to do with fear again, but this one's more of a kind of a fun one. Like, what would you say is your biggest irrational fear? Something that's just
obviously
not logical.
That like spiders are going to eat my face. Like, I don't know how not logical that is, though. That could totally happen.
I guess I've never heard of a spider eating a face, but
I every time I see a spider, and I hate spiders because you blink and they disappear, and then you don't know where they are, and I'm like, that spider's totally gonna come and like eat my face while I'm sleeping, and I do not sleep well. I do not sleep well knowing that there's a spider in my house, even though logically we all know that there's gonna be critters getting into the crooks and crannies. But if I know that there's a spider in my house, I'm pretty sure it's gonna come and eat my face while I'm sleeping. So
you gotta get one of those bug nets and just like have it over top of you while you sleep.
Right? But then that would all be ruined if I saw a spider inside of the net. It would be game over.
Oh my God. You'd be on the floor all tied up in a bundle.
Yes.
Someone help me.
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome.
So yeah, that's my biggest silly fear.
The best I heard was, I think it was yesterday or the day before, was someone, they're afraid of getting kicked by a horse. I'm like, how often are you around horses? They're like, not too often. I'm like, okay.
Like just randomly be walking down the street and get kicked
by a horse. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could happen depending where you're living.
That's too funny.
I thought that was an awesome one.
It is. It really is.
Next question. What would you say is the number one reason people fail to make it with streaming? And what advice would you give someone just starting out to prevent that, or help prevent it anyway? When I say fail, I mean they just straight up give up after a few months. Not that they fail to make partnership, because I mean you can still be a good streamer and not be a partner.
I think that the reason I see a lot of people give up is they get so numbers focused. Yeah. And I think to an extent we all are. We all love hitting those milestones. We all love seeing like, holy crap, I've got 10 viewers and now I've got 20 viewers and so on and so forth. So we all to an extent are, going to be very numbers based when we start. But, turn off, your viewers list. Who cares if you're in there talking to yourself, for a few minutes, like learn to get comfortable talking, to an empty room.
Yeah.
Because in all honesty, I learned this early on. People come in and they don't talk. So just because your chat is, you seemingly have an empty room, people could potentially still be watching. So still talk, still laugh at, if you have an epic fail, like still get excited if you have like an epic win, like still have your personality out there, still be talking, still be interacting, and people will get comfortable with interacting back with you. And I think that will help you grow really fast, when people can see your true personality, and get out there and network. And I think this is another thing I would say people kind of fail on sometimes when they're starting out. Networking doesn't mean getting follows, and it doesn't mean getting follows on Twitter. It means making connections. It means making friends, talking to people off stream. When I first started streaming, I probably spent twice as much time in other streams than I did in my own stream, because I wanted to get to know people. I wanted to get to know all about streaming and kind of see the different cool things that people had on their channels. channels and, and get to learn just about the mixer community in general. I was very, very, very new to the whole concept. And even last year, I remember telling my crib midget, like, why are you watching other people play video games? Like, why are you not just playing games yourself? So I literally did not understand the concept. I'll admit that. And so when I first came to Mixer, I spent a lot of time at other people's channels, and I got to learn, a lot about people. And, I know who's going to a wedding this week, and I know, who's applying for partnership, and like knowing those things don't make just surface level connections. Like actually get to know people, make that effort. Because I think people get networking confused with like the follow for follow kind of mentality. And that's not what it is at all. We're really out here getting to know people and making friends and finding out who we connect with and whose content that we like and, who do we want to watch and who do you want to co-stream with? Like get to know people and you'll grow from there. You really will.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because it's like they say, like the follow for follow thing. It's like inviting everyone to your birthday and everyone inviting you to your birthday. Well, whose birthday are you going to go to? You're just going to go to your birthday. They're going to go to their birthday. So at the end of the day, you have nobody at your birthday. Whereas if you, like you said, make the connection, well, as long as they don't have their birthday the same day, they're coming to your birthday and they're going to hang out.
Exactly. And that's a really good way to think of it too. It really is.
Yeah.
So getting to know people and making friends versus networking. And I always tell people like, don't call it networking or don't think of it that way. Like think of it as I'm going to go out here and I'm going to make some friends this week. And that'll take you a long way.
Oh, 100%. I tell everyone that like every week I try to meet 5 new people in streaming and just hang out with them and spend a few hours in each of their stream and just get to know them. And it's kind of nice doing this now, what I'm doing, because I'm meeting a lot of streamers I've never even heard of and loving their content. I'm like, how have I not heard of you before? Like, I don't understand.
Exactly. Well, and I moderate for one of my teams on Mixer. And one of the things that we've challenged our team members to do is like, go out, meet, spend at least an hour in 2 new streams this week. And, and then like, did you like the content? Did you like the interactivity? Did you like the gaming? Like, try and make friends and get out there and see what you like and you don't like, because you can kind of adapt things to your own content as well. You know what I mean? Nobody comes up with 100% of their stuff on their own, but you can see stuff that, that you like, that you don't like, and kind of make it your own. And so you're not just growing those friendships, but you can also expand your content by, just seeing what's out there. So.
Oh, exactly. And that's the best way to do it is to, and like you said, you have to make it your own, because there's one thing taking someone's content and just slapping it up there, but then it's another thing to take it and put your own unique spin on it, because then it's not, because I know there's like, Sir Soapy, right?
Yes. Yep.
Well,
I know Soapy.
He's got, and this is before we even met each other, before we were even both on Team Positivity together. I've had my Techno Chicken video since like day one. Well, he uses the Techno Chicken video as his follow video when people follow him. And
he does.
Yeah, and it's so funny because the one day I rated him, like before we were even on team together, he was playing Minecraft and I just finished and I'm like, oh, this guy looks pretty cool. Like let's go meet someone new, guys. And went and rated him. His thing came up and I'm like, no way. And at first I felt really bad. And then we got to talking and I'm like, hey man, I use that as a button. Is that okay? And he's like, oh man, I don't care. He's like, I got it from here. And then now we talk all the time. Like we've created that connection.
And I think it's important that you point that out, Mike, because there's a huge difference between just, stealing somebody's content and just, slapping it on your channel versus, getting ideas and thinking to yourself, okay, what is my brand and how can I adapt this idea, not this exact thing, but the idea of it, and adapt that to my own content. I used to do a lot of tech streams when I first started out. I was fortunate enough to find a lot of people who were also very new to Mixer, and we were all kind of growing together and learning together. And I became really good with like the bot and stuff like that. So I was doing like tech help streams, and that was one thing that I always told people is, I want to give these ideas. Like I want you guys to have the know-how so that you can take that know-how and then think to yourself like, okay, how could I use this with my branding, with my content? How could I adapt this? And yeah, I think it helped a lot, you know.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Like, because I mean, I used to watch a lot of your Mix It Up stuff you would do. Because because I know you jumped on the Mix It Up bot before. I had never even heard of it until, well, I think I started using it just before Christmas. But you were doing like a lot of tutorials on it. And I would always jump in when I started using it because I want to see it. I've even gone back and watched some of the VODs at the time when you did them because I'm like, okay, how did she do this? And even now, like when I was, French Fry was trying to get help with the death counter style thing. And I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure Dusty did something. And she's like, I know, but I just don't get it. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll watch it. And I watched it. I'm like, all right, here, let's go into a group together. We'll both watch the video. And we did it over Discord, shared screen. I'm like, okay, now do this. Okay, this is what she means by this. And it was like, I just walked her through your video and we ended up getting it working. And it was the first time I ever did it too. And I ended up getting I got a beard touch one now because everyone always comments that I touch my beard too much. So I'm like, let's put a beard touch one. That was all because of your video.
That's what I aimed to do when I was doing all the tech videos, because, I put some videos like on my YouTube and stuff to walk people through how to do their buttons and stuff. But it's also, like Frenchie, for example, like not some people, it's just not, it doesn't make sense to them in a video to follow along. So I was doing the live stream so people could actually come and, ask me questions live and I could walk them through it live. And doing the behind the scene tech stuff has always been like my little nerdy pleasure. So being able to share that information with other people was huge to me. And I feel like, people definitely benefited from it. So I was really happy to be able to do that.
Oh, 100%. I love watching like those little tech videos because then even if I don't need help with something, I'll watch them anyway. And then I'll be like, oh, let me try that and see how I can make it work.
Yeah. And you can kind of learn some new stuff and like stuff you didn't even know that the bot could do, So I'm the same way. I love watching, little videos and stuff like that from people in the community.
Yeah, no, it is awesome. We'll move on to the next question. It's kind of another little fun, goofy one. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be and how would you use it?
Oh, geez. Well, going back to my God complex, I would totally want mind control. I'm just saying.
You're not the first one to say that.
I'm just like, I'm just thinking to myself, if I had mind control, Crib Midget's chores would always be done. My job would be so much easier. It would just be perfect.
Yes. It so would. We'll move on to the next one then. What would you say would be the title of your memoir if you were to have one written?
Oh, wow.
I love it. Oh, wow.
Does it have to be appropriate?
Hey, no, we're on explicit. You can say whatever you want.
I don't know if I had a memoir. Okay. Well, of course, I would have to have Dusty Thighs in it because who wouldn't want to pick that up and read it?
Exactly. Yeah. Like a Dusty Thighs story.
Right. I don't know, like something silly like the do's and don'ts of Dusty Thighs. I've made some mistakes in my life and I've had some really good things in my life too. So I think the do's and don'ts of Dusty Thighs would be fairly catchy.
I think so too. Because you get people like just wanting to go, the do's and don'ts of Dusty Thighs. Like, is this like a sex novel? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I would call it.
Yeah, I love it. I would still pick that up and read it.
You're right.
Not even knowing what it's about. The do's and don'ts of Dusty Thighs. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Next question. What are some streaming goals that you haven't reached yet, and why have you set those goals?
Honestly, I'll be perfectly honest. Up until January, I had a lot of goals. I hit partnership in October. That was one that I had accomplished. Just different follower goals and stuff like that. But I took the month of January off. My health was acting up again, and when I came back at the end of January, and I was doing one day a week, and I kind of made a decision, Mike, at that time that I'm not going to set any big goals this year. I'm going to take it, week by week. And obviously I have things that I'd like to accomplish, and I'd like to go to PAX West, and I'd like to make connections and maybe, just find out about different sponsorships and stuff like that. But I've not actually set anything in concrete. I know that that's probably like so against what we're supposed to be doing, but I'm not working towards anything right now. I'm really enjoying my time with my community, and
that's a goal in itself.
Yeah, I mean, being able to, I guess, up my stream time a little bit to include a second day a week, I guess would be a goal. But as far as like those goals that I was really setting for myself, because I just hit my 1 year stream anniversary.
Yes.
Yesterday, actually. Yeah. So, but I feel
mine's
like
today, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So weird.
But I feel like my first year was full of all these goals that I wanted to accomplish. And, this year I just want to focus on, enjoying each stream and, each game and just kind of do it day by day. I mean, it's actually been kind of nice for my sanity to not have that pressure over my head of like, okay, we've got to hit this number or we've got to do this. And it's been kind of nice to be goalless. I mean, I'm not 100% goalless, but just kind of taking it day by day right now, honestly.
No, and I've kind of done the same. Like I still have a little tiny goals, but nothing like
sure.
It's more not even to do with streaming, more so it's more just education wise now. But I've done the same with streaming. It's just I'm like, okay, my goal today is to at least have a good stream, make someone smile, make someone laugh, and that's it. I'm not going to watch the numbers, because even now, like today, I hit a certain milestone, and people are like, "Oh, GG," and they're going, "I'm like, oh, did I?" I'm like, "Oh,
yeah."
I'm like, now I have to act surprised. I'm like,
yep,
because I don't watch that anymore.
I did the same thing. I think it was last week, and we hit 4,000, and and I'm just doing my thing, and all of a sudden my chat lights up with all of the 4K hype, and I'm like, oh, like that's awesome. Like, did we hit 4K? Because I just wasn't looking at it, and that's been so nice for my sanity, though. Like, I still celebrated, obviously, and I was really excited, but I wasn't like watching the numbers like, okay, we're 2 away, we're 1 away. You know what I mean? It was
get ready.
Cool. Like, yeah, exactly. So it was like, wow, we just hit 4K. I didn't even realize we were close. So
yeah, and it does take a huge load off like your sanity, your mental
really
well-being.
Does. It really does, because even when you say like you're not going to be numbers focused, again, it's still there a little bit. You want to hit those milestones when you're first starting out, but I think at a certain point you really do like truly kind of just let that go, and you just live in the moment and just enjoy it.
And I think that's something a lot of people, because like you say, when you first start off, you're like, okay, I got to get 50. Okay, I got to get 100. Now I got to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 10. And it's like, I think if you started off with that mentality, you'd probably reach those goals so much quicker, because then you're just enjoying the moment and not worried about what's going to happen down the road. Yeah,
you're not stressing and you're not pushing for, like, oh, we're so close. Like, I just need 2 more. You know what I mean? Like, you take all that pressure off of yourself when you just really kind of stop paying attention and just enjoy it.
100%. Next question. Who would you say was your initial inspiration to start streaming?
I don't know. I spent a lot of time in a lot of streams. I don't know. I mean, I can't. So when I first came to Mixer, I came to Mixer as a mod, and, as a channel editor and setting that kind of stuff up. And then when I went on medical leave, Bandito, who was my boyfriend at the time, he was like, why don't you pick it up as a hobby? Like, I could totally watch you while I'm at work. And so that's actually what got me into streaming. Was I was basically just doing it just to kind of hang out with him in the evenings while he was at work. And but I mean, I watched a lot of awesome streamers. Cranky Canuck was one of, probably he kind of turned me on to the idea that Mixer wasn't just for gamers. And I think that was really big for me to see that there was people out there like doing web shows, and it was kind of eye opening, and it was like, like it's totally fine to drop the F-bomb, and like I feel like I learned a lot, Cranky. And Night Tide was probably one of the first quote unquote big streamers that I had come across, and I enjoyed his content a lot. And at the time I was friends with Dragon Shaft and would spend a lot of time on his channel, and he actually kind of like opened my eyes to all the techie stuff that could possibly be done with Mixer and all the interactive stuff. So I mean, I kind of took a lot from a lot of different streamers at the time, and just kind of opened my eyes to all the possibilities, as I became a streamer myself.
That's awesome. That's the best way to do it though, because not only that, because now you got that inspiration from multiple people and made it your own. Yep. And now you're amazing. Like no one could. I don't think anyone could copy your content. Like there's no way I could see anyone else doing you.
I don't know that there's anybody as loud as me out there.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. You're definitely the loudest.
Yes.
But it's good though. There's nothing. It's like you hype it up so well that it's like the perfect loud. It's not like you're just yelling monotonously into a microphone.
Just screaming. Yeah. Well, and it's funny because, now that Mixer has introduced Channel 1 Plus for 18 plus streamers like myself, we always kind of joke, like when they come in and they host the channel and it's like, oh, like I'm really sorry for all of you headphone users because I know that when the channel switched from somebody who was probably much quieter to my channel and I'm just like yelling like, hi, welcome. Probably blew out at least a handful of people's eardrums. So
that's awesome. I never thought of that. Yeah, people with the headphones. I never even thought to think of that.
I always feel really bad because I do. I mean, I spend time in a lot of streams and some are quieter than others. And I'm like, gosh, like I would hate to have my headphones on and go from like a quieter stream to my stream where we're like singing and dancing and laughing and yelling and like, So I'm like, oh, like I'm really sorry to all the headphone users out there.
Well, they'll remember you now.
Right. Wakes them up if nothing else.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It gets all the farmers awake.
Right. Like pulls everybody out of lurk with my big loud laugh.
Exactly. I love it. Next question. It's one I started asking recently, and I actually put it on Twitter the other day as well. As streamers, we have the influence to change people's lives each day, or for good, or for whatever. For yourself, when you stream, how do you plan on improving or changing someone's life for the better? I don't want to say for the negative, because obviously no one's purposely goes out and goes, I want to make someone a terrible day.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and this is one thing that that part of my brand is centered around is Dusty Thighs and positive vibes. That's always been my hashtag. Yep. We released the Dusty Potion merch probably about 5 months or so ago, which is centered around like, are you sure you don't just need some Dusty Potion? And the whole purpose of that is, because people, were constantly telling me like, just coming and spending an hour in your stream, it's uplifted my day. I was having a really bad day and just being in your stream is, turned that around. And I think that's amazing. So, and that's another huge reason why I cut down to 1 day a week, because I didn't feel like I was able to do that for people when I'm exhausted, when I'm, just my brain's just done. It's checked out for the day. Because I do every time I go live, I want to be happy and hyped and positive and, because I feel like even if I may not necessarily be talking to somebody one-on-one about whatever their problem is, I feel like for those few hours that I'm live, we can laugh and we can joke and we can play music and we can play games and we can dance, and it just kind of fades away. It kind of just gives people a break. I've seen streamers that have made the mistake, of unloading their entire day on their community. And I get it. Like we all need to vent, but, what I want to use my platform for is the exact opposite. Yep. I want to bring nothing but positivity. I want to talk about the good things that have happened this week. And my DMs are always open for people that do want to vent. And we do a lot of that off stream. Don't get me wrong. I'm not 100%, but I feel like when you go live, like, you're giving people a break from their day. They should be able to come and hang out. Like nobody wants to come to a party where, the music is sad and everybody's just, unhappy and angry and throwing stuff. And like, that's just not what I want to use my platform for. So, I guess that's how I, set out to try and improve people's days, is just by being positive and just giving them a place where they can go to kind of feed off of that positivity. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's such a good analogy too. Like, no, I wouldn't want to go to unless it's like a party where I'm destroying like a building or something and there's a purpose behind it. But I mean, no one wants to go to a party that where everyone, like you said, everyone's sad and pissed off at the world. Like, oh, what good is that? Like, no way. No, thank you.
Like, I could have stayed home and been,
exactly.
upset. Like, why do I need to come to this party and be upset?
I don't need to be around 30 other people that feel the same way.
Right. Exactly.
Last question. If I was to ask you at age 5 what you wanted to be when you grew up, what would you have said?
I actually, as a little girl, wanted to be a veterinarian. I've always been a huge animal lover, and and okay, so more specifically, and I don't actually know what the word for it is, but I wanted to be a veterinarian at like SeaWorld because I thought that would be the coolest thing to like work with dolphins and whales and stuff that. I'm sure they're not at all called veterinarians. There's probably a different word for it, but yeah,
like
that was totally
like a
my
marine
dream.
biologist or something, I think.
Yes. Yeah. So that was totally my dream growing up. So I went to SeaWorld for the first time and I was like 5 or 6 and I was like, yep, this is what I'm going to do with my life.
That is so cool. You could be like, what was his name in Free Willy there?
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh, I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Goldfish memory?
Yeah, same. That is awesome. Did you ever pursue it at all as you got older, or just kind of faded away?
It kind of faded away, and then I saw a lot of the behind the scenes and understood a little bit better about like what actually happens at places like SeaWorld, and and it kind of broke my heart. And I was just like, and going to the zoo as you get older and you start to realize like animals are depressed, and I was just like, I mean, if I was ever wanted to pursue something like that, like the way that I had envisioned it as a little girl was so off base, because you don't notice those things when you're little. Everything's bright and shiny, and you don't realize that the animals are unhappy and locked in cages. So
I was going to ask you about that. What you thought about that now? What's going on with SeaWorld now? All the petitions and stuff like that. And
I honestly cannot wait to see the place close down. I just, to see the treatment of the animals. And again, I'm a huge animal advocate. I'm a big advocate for, like adopt, don't shop movement. And I've done a lot of work with like humane societies and stuff in our area. And I don't see how people can live with themselves, to be honest. When I see some of that stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and it just breaks my heart. So, I mean, honestly, I would be perfectly happy with like all zoos closing down. I know we've got like sanctuaries and stuff like that, and I think that those are really needed. We do have animals that are absolutely in desperate need of sanctuary style care, but just zoos for entertainment is just, I wish they'd all close.
I kind of agree.
I know there's going to be a lot of people that don't agree with that, but
it's archaic now. Like it's like libraries nowadays aren't being used as much because now you can get everything on the internet. So why not get rid of the zoos? Because if you really want to see these animals, like there are, like you said, sanctuaries. Like I went to South Africa, 10 years ago, I guess. My son was 6 months old at the time. And we drove to one of those sanctuaries, and I thought that was a way better experience because they're in their natural habitat. They're just kind of doing their thing, and they don't really care about you. Whereas, like you said, you go in a zoo, they're locked up in a cage. They're not happy. If it's raining, they might not be able to go inside or get shelter. Their only shelter might be a tree there, which is like bare of leaves because they ate it all.
Well, and our zoo here in Indianapolis, they've done this new thing now, and it was this huge state-of-the-art exhibit for chimpanzees and And I got to see it for the first time. We went to Christmas at the zoo because I've not been to the zoo in a really long time. But we did go for Christmas lights, and I was appalled because everything is plastic and metal. Like there wasn't a single blade of grass. There wasn't a single leaf. And I was like, oh my gosh, like these animals are living in this dollhouse environment. And it's, this supposedly state-of-the-art thing, but it's not. Like, look what you're doing to these creatures, and they're laying on just these cold, hard concrete floors. And I'm like, what about, the architecture on the outside, it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous building, whatever. But to be an animal exhibit, like my heart was broken. I was like, I'm ready to go. Like, I don't even care about the lights anymore. I want to go home.
I mean, like, would a person want that? Like, I wouldn't want my house to be.
Right.
I mean, my house is all, I guess, wood and plastic and whatnot, but I don't sleep on the floor. Like, I sleep in a comfy bed. Like,
yeah, I mean, I was completely appalled. I mean, even like the, quote unquote, like, because they've got like these large metal poles that are meant to look like, big trees, and they've got these big leaf looking hammocks, but they're like a hard plastic. And I'm like, it's pretty, but what kind of environment is this? Like, yeah, I was completely appalled.
No, that's, what if they fall from the hammock onto the ground? Like,
right, yeah.
They're not falling on a nice, I mean, the ground is hard enough as it is. Now you got them falling on concrete and metal. Like, come on.
Yep. Yeah, it was just, it was crazy to me. So to answer your question, I'm excited for them to all close at one point.
And I think we're going to get there eventually. Like I said, I don't think zoos are really viable anymore.
No.
In my opinion.
I mean, they're not getting their funding, and that's why they're doing crazy things like these state-of-the-art facilities, but they're just not living up to the hype, in my opinion.
No, the draw's not there anymore, because you can watch a show on Netflix and it's in like such good quality that it's like you're there anyway.
Right. I mean, you're just as close to that animal on TV as you would be in the zoo,
exactly.
Honestly.
Yeah, you can't go.
So you're still looking at them through
yeah.
So
if you want to see real animals, go to a farm and talk to a farmer. He'll let you go out there.
Or hit one of the sanctuaries. Like, we've got a wolf sanctuary
that'd be cool.
about 2 hours south of me, and that's on the on the list this summer, is to go down there, because you can actually go in, with them. And I mean, they've been raised by humans, but obviously, I mean, they're still wild animals, but they will let you go in, and there's rules and stuff like that. But from what I've seen, I mean, the wolves will come up to you, and they'll sit with you and, kind of inspect you and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, sign me up.
Yeah, definitely. That I would I would go to that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Like, I would much rather go to that, drive 2 hours south than drive 15 minutes to a zoo where everything is just plastic and metal.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I would so do that.
Yeah.
But that is really, I bet. Yeah. But that is pretty much everything I have. Is there anything else I should have asked you that I didn't, or anything else you want to add or talk about before we get your links?
No, not really. I just really appreciate the opportunity to come and, just share a little bit about myself. That's awesome.
No, I love it too. And I'm glad you agreed to, because I was really nervous to ask you at first, because I'm like, I know how busy you are. And I was like, I don't want to put any more on your plate.
All busy, yeah. But no, I appreciate it. It's an awesome opportunity. Thank you.
No, thank you. And what I'll do now, I'll get you to drop any links you want to share, Insta, Twitter, Mixer, and I'll also link them in the description so people don't have to rush to grab a pen and paper.
Okay. Well, I don't have Instagram, because I probably wouldn't share anything except like pictures of my fat dog and maybe whatever I ate for lunch.
And you would probably get a lot of views. No lie.
I probably would. I feel like the dogs of Instagram has really taken off recently. So
it is huge, because I post photos of my dogs all the time. Yeah. And I get so many, and I'm like, I don't even know any of these people.
Right. You're like, they just like your dog. So, but no, my Mixer link is mixer.com/DustyThighs. And I am on Twitter, very active on my Twitter, and that's also at DustyThighs. And if ever anybody was interested in like hopping in the Discord or anything like that, I've got links to that on my Mixer page. I think that's it. Okay. I'm mostly just my Mixer and my Twitter. Yeah.
Okay, dude. I'll grab your Discord link and I'll throw it in the description as well. I've been doing that lately as well.
Okay.
And YouTube. Awesome. Do you want me to put your YouTube in there as well?
I will have to send that to you, Mike, because I haven't yet reached 100 followers, so I don't yet have my own personalized.
No worries. If you want to send that to me, and then we'll get it, and maybe hopefully we can help push you over the 100.
Hey, that would be awesome.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you very much again for hanging out and chatting. It was a pleasure. It was so much fun. My cheeks are sore now.
I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Mike.
Not a problem. Thank you. And goodbye, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and peace and love.
Bye, guys.
This concludes another episode of Behind the BS, Behind the Broadcasting Software. Please like and subscribe to be notified when the next episode drops. To find out how you could become a guest on Behind the BS, please email info@behindthebs.net or follow us on Twitter at @behind_BS. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Peace and love.